Look carefully at most big successes in history and business. One name stands in the spotlight, but many hands did the work in the shadows. The public sees a single genius, a single leader, a single, self-made success. The truth is almost always a network of people whose efforts were quietly leveraged. In the 48 Laws of Power, Law 7 says, "Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit." It sounds cold, even unfair, but it describes how power often works in real life. Authority goes to the person who directs and represents the work, not to the people who quietly grind behind the scenes. In this episode of Just Here, Audiobook, you are going to dive deep into Law 7. You will hear why doing everything alone keeps you small, how powerful people use delegation and leverage, and how to protect yourself when others try to use your work for their glory. As you listen, ask yourself, am I just the one who works? Or am I becoming the one whose name is tied to the result? 1. Simple definition of Law 7. Law 7 says, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. The law teaches that power comes from directing and owning work, not from doing everything yourself like a lone worker. People remember the name tied to the finished result, not all the hands that helped create it. 2. Why doing everything alone is a weakness. When you try to do every task yourself, you run out of time and energy, and your impact stays small. In competitive fields, others will quietly stand on your work and present it as their own if you do not protect and position yourself. Power belongs to the person at the center of the project who coordinates, decides, and represents the outcome to the world. 3. The core logic of Law 7. You can turn this into several minutes with examples. Use others' strengths, find people whose skills, creativity, or time fill your gaps so your projects move faster and look stronger. Stand on existing work, instead of starting from zero, learn from past thinkers, systems, and examples, then present an improved, unified version as your solution. Control the narrative, make sure your name is attached to the vision, the direction, and the final product, so public credit naturally flows to you. For classic, dark examples, you can narrate them briefly. Thomas Edison used teams of assistants and sometimes took credit for breakthroughs by others like Nikola Tesla, yet history mainly remembers Edison's name. Many founders and CEOs rely on large teams, but media stories frame the success as the founder's genius. The public loves a single hero. These stories show the harsh reality. The spotlight usually follows the figurehead, not the contributors behind the scenes. 5. How to apply Law 7 in a smarter, more ethical way. You can stretch this part with practical advice. Delegate, don't disappear, give others tasks, but stay involved in direction, decisions, and final presentation, so you are truly leading, not just stealing. Give internal credit, own external responsibility. Publicly you are the face of the result, privately you acknowledge and reward your team so they stay loyal. Share vision clearly. When people believe in the bigger purpose you set, they are more willing to work hard under your leadership while your name stays at the front. 6. Protecting yourself from others using Law 7 on you. Guard your ideas until you are ready to attach your name to them. Unfinished work is easy for others to repackage as theirs. Document your contributions and keep evidence, especially in workplaces where credit theft is common. When someone tries to claim what you did, calmly bring the facts and your track record forward, instead of only complaining in private. 7. Everyday examples your listeners can relate to. Turn these into 2 to 3 minute mini stories. Office. One person does the slides, another presents them, the presenter becomes the expert in everyone's mind. Law 7 explains why. Group projects or startups. The visible founder or leader is invited to interviews and panels, even though the team did most of the technical work. Online content. Creators often repackage ideas from books and research, but the audience remembers the creator, not the sources. 8. Reversal and limits of Law 7. If your power is still fragile, openly stealing credit can backfire and label you as a cheat, making allies turn against you. In expert communities, people respect those who at least acknowledge sources and collaborators. Total credit hogging damages long-term reputation. The mature way to use Law 7 is, lead, leverage others, own the vision, and let people see you as the architect, not the only bricklayer. 9. Final takeaway message for your script. Law 7 reveals a tough truth: the world rewards those who organize, direct, and present work, not those who quietly do everything alone. To grow your power, you must learn to use other people's effort while still treating them fairly and keeping their loyalty. Invite your listeners to ask, am I always the one doing the work in silence, or am I learning to lead, delegate, and make sure my name is tied to the results I create with others? Power does not reward effort equally. Some people sweat in silence while others step forward as the face of the finished product. Law 7 exposes this imbalance. Those who know how to organize, direct, and present the work are remembered as the creators, even when many others helped build it. You do not have to become a thief of credit. The smarter path is to lead the project, use other people's strengths, give them respect, and still make sure your name is clearly linked to the vision and the outcome. That way, the story the world tells is accurate. You were the architect, even if you did not lay every brick. You have been listening to Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit, on Just Here, Audiobook. As you go back to your own life, carry one question with you: where am I doing all the work in the dark, and how can I step into the role of leader whose name stands in the light?